Hey everyone, welcome back to Low Luxury, the channel where I show you what authentic luxury clothing and streetwear looks like. Today, we are going to be taking a look at one of the coolest collaborations I have seen in a long time. So this is a t-shirt from the collab between Nike and Fear of God, the recent one that they just did. It's inspired by like 80s NBA warm-up outfits, and it just fits so well within the Fear of God aesthetic. So I am so excited to check out everything about this piece. I think Fear of God has been killing it lately, and this is no different. It just fits so well into everything they've been doing. So let's check it out. But before we get going, I ask you to subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, or even if you don't, the videos are only going to get better. So even if you hate this one, you can subscribe and you'll like the future ones. I promise you, it doesn't cost you anything. Just check it out, click that button below, and I thank you dearly. All right, so we're gonna start by taking a look at this bag, and as you can see, the front is extremely exciting. Yeah, tons to look at there. Let's turn that over. Okay, there we go. That's a bit better. So let's take a look at what we got on here. So in this box on here, you have a ton of warnings. Warnings in like every possible language you could imagine. Like it just goes and goes and goes. But hey, they got to do what they got to do, right? They're Nike. They're in every country there is. You got some recycling symbols at the bottom there, centered. And then you get a sticker right there with a yellow strip at the top, which says men's, and then off to the right, casual. That's weird. But you get a model number under that, which is awesome. You can look that up, make sure it checks out. You got a size off to the right, a bit bolder, so that's S for small. Then you get a barcode and suggested retail price at the bottom. In the bottom right, big and bold, $45. So very affordable for a Fear of God shirt, right? And this is one of the kind of fold-over bags. It's just like taped shut or something right here and a couple sides. So let's open it up. Okay, so as you can see, there is some stock paper here. Let's get that off. And there we have it. So since we've got them right there, let's start by looking at those retail tags that come with it. So the first thing we get here is a matte white piece of cardboard. It does bend fairly easily, but it's on the thicker side. In the top right there, it's like an image number or something. I'm not really sure. Then you get a sticker, which is very similar, but not the same as the one on the outside of the bag. So this one, it has a QR code and an RFID symbol there, which weren't on the other one. And then down at the bottom, you get a recycling symbol and then the various kind of Nike trademarks. And on the back of that, you get an embossed logo here. So this is really cool. So it says Jerry Lorenzo, Nike's in the center, and then Fear of God along the bottom. So the Nike there is centered like that, going sideways, and the Jerry Lorenzo and Fear of God are around the outside, kind of vertical. And if you look inside those letters there, there's little kind of crosses through various letters, so make sure you check those out, like the line under the A, stuff like that is all very important. Then you also get a kind of little booklet here, interestingly. So this has a little attention symbol, and then it says in English, this garment was created using printing techniques and fabrics that require special care to ensure durability. So it's basically saying, this ain't your normal Nike shirt, okay? Take care of it. And that's in a ton of languages here. It opens up and that continues, keeps going. You've got that IM number up there too. And then it finishes off in like the Arabic and Asian languages and stuff. And that's it, and you get a little space there at the bottom. And these are attached with a thin black string that goes up to a small black safety pin that goes through the back of the brand tag at the back of the neck there. And speaking of that brand tag, let's take a look at that next. So this one, it's an embroidered loop tag here. You can see how it folds over like that. And it is kind of a glossy light gray, I would say. And then going sideways, so kind of vertically, from bottom to top, you got the Nike logo with the swoosh under that. Take a look at, of course, how that tip doesn't touch the N, but then it does, the swoosh kind of coming out does touch the E. Stuff like that is very important. Take a look at the distance from where it ends to the kind of reinforced neck here. All that stuff is very important. Then you get your sizing here, SPCH, then it made in China, Fabrique in Chine. And if you turn that over, there is nothing on the back. Although you do get this little kind of stitch line here, which is pretty interesting. And on the inside of that, the back is the same color, but the inside of the front is the inverted colors, so white on black. All right, now let's take a look at the care tags that are inside the t-shirt. So this tag is like a fairly smooth plastic matte white, and at the top there you get some random numbers that I don't know what they mean, I'm sorry, and a black box there, interestingly. And you can see that this tag is stitched in right into the seam there in the same color as the shirt itself. And it is really important how straight and clean that stitch is. Definitely keep an eye out on stuff like that. So then you get a bit of space there before you get an RN and CA number. And then you get the country of origin again in bold font. Then you get your fabrication, which is 100% cotton, and that stuff is center justified. You get some washing symbols, and then your washing instructions, first in English, then I guess French. And the back of that is totally blank, so really, really simple care tags here. And then there is another little kind of white plasticky tag here, which has a kind of perforation dotted line. And then your model number right there, that CU number, and the size there. So definitely make sure that all matches up and is correct. And the back of that is blank. All right, now let's take a look at some of the unique details on this shirt. So the swoosh right here is embroidered in black, and that's on the left if you're looking at the shirt, on your right if you're wearing it. And you can see there is a little fuzziness around the edges there, so don't be too concerned about that. Honestly, if it looks too clean, maybe that is the cause for concern. And it does have a little bit of kind of glossiness to it, as you can see in the light there. And if you look to the inside, actually on mine, you can see the remnants of the guide, so that is fine. Obviously, it's a $45 shirt, it's not top quality. And then off on the right here, this NBA piece is actually like a rubber applique, so that's really cool. So each color feels kind of different, like that. The white is kind of lower than the blue, I think, or no, the white is on top of everything, actually, rather. So that's really cool. It has a nice texture to it. And you cannot see any of that from the back of the shirt. And that Fear of God logo is printed on there, maybe. Like, this is really interesting, actually. So this is kind of very rubbery feeling, much more than your normal screen print. So it's actually hard for me to tell if this was screen printed on or if it's more of like a rubber applique like this, but it feels different from the NBA logo. But it's really interesting. So this should feel a little kind of sticky and rubbery to you. But you can absolutely see there how clean each of those letters is. And also, of course, take a look at the spacing of each letter, how much space there is between each, and how much space that Fear of God logo takes up on the shirt itself. Like, it is quite big. And on the back of the shirt, you actually get maybe my favorite element of all. So this is an Air Fear of God patch that is stitched in there on all four sides. So the base itself that I'm touching right now is like a fabric, but then the Air and Fear of God are like a rubber that comes out of that fabric. It's really, really cool and super clean. And if you look to the inside of the shirt, underneath that brand tag, you can see that stitching there and how clean that is. Like, there's nothing, no crazy wonky stitches or anything like that. And then the collar is ribbed, as you can see there, whereas the cuffs and the hem are more the same texture of the t-shirt itself. So now that we've looked at all the details, let's try this thing on to see how it feels and see how it fits. So first, I just want to talk about the overall concept of this shirt because I love it so much. So I think it's really, really important when these kind of high-priced luxury streetwear fashion brands, whatever they are, when they collaborate with mainstream clothing brands, it's really, really, really important, in my opinion, that they do so at a price point that is accessible to a new customer who isn't always able to afford their kind of mainline products. And that is exactly what Fear of God have done here. So a normal t-shirt from them might run you $300-400 plus, but this is a $45 t-shirt that has that same branding and kind of point of view that people love from Fear of God, and it opens them up to a whole new market and clientele, which is so important. Like, I'll see these collaborations that Vetements, Maison Margiela do with like Reebok, where they're selling $1,000 shoes through Reebok, and it's just like you're missing the entire point. This is your opportunity to sell your products to a customer that isn't usually able to access them by using the kind of mainstream brands, logistics, and production and things to do it at a much lower price point. It's just so smart that Fear of God did it like this, and I'm so happy they did. Now let's talk about the shirt itself. So obviously I love the design so much. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but the branding is really subtle and refined to me, and I think it's just perfect, so I don't mind the NBA on there at all. I think that's great. The branding, as I've said, is big and bold and in your face, and I love that. The feel is really nice. It does feel a little bit athletic. It breathes a bit more than your normal t-shirt while still having a good, nice, heavy weight to it. So that's a really nice balance that they've struck. And finally, let's talk about the fit. So this one is tagged as a size small, but it is most definitely oversized, which pretty much all Fear of God stuff is. So this one, I would say it fits more like a true to size medium, or even getting into maybe a large. Like, it is quite oversized. So if you're looking for more of a true to size fit for yourself, I would suggest sizing down by a size at least. So that is how you tell the difference between real and fake Fear of God X Nike. Take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.